Hi friends, my name is Toni Cureton. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Life Skills FYI. Life Skills FYI provides a set of core adult capabilities to manage work, family, and relationships successfully. It's designed to help build the skills adults need for life. Life Skills FYI teaches skills of planning, awareness, focus, self-control, and flexibility. They are daily living skills to promote successful, independent living, skills that every adult should know but were never taught in school. Life Skills FYI premieres on Thursdays at 10 a.m. on our My Virtual Academy Facebook page and on Instagram. So today, we are going to discuss what steps you need to take if you've been a victim of identity theft. So, identity theft can happen in a variety of ways, but regardless of the method, the outcome is still the same. Your personal identifying information has been compromised, and it could have serious impact on you, your reputation, and your personal records, including those pertaining to your employment history, health, and credit. So if you are a victim of identity theft, what should you do? Although every identity theft case is unique, today I will share some general tips for a quick response to immediate signs of identity theft. What is it that thieves are looking for when they are obtaining your information? Once identity thieves have your personal information, they can drain your bank accounts, they can run up charges on your credit cards, they can open new utility accounts or credit card accounts, or they can get medical treatment on your health insurance. An identity thief can file a tax return and get a refund in your name. In some extreme cases, a thief can even give your name to the police department if they are arrested. So here are some common clues that will alert you to the possibility of someone trying to steal your identity. First, you need to look at your withdrawal forms from your bank accounts and check to make sure you can account for every withdrawal taken from your account. You can also make sure that you receive all of your bills and your statements and your mail in a timely manner. If you go for long periods of time where your mail seems to be missing, you might want to reach out to your banking and financial institutions, your credit card companies, to find out if there's some sort of delay, because identity thieves steal mail. That's how, one of the ways that they get your information. Make sure that you, when you get calls from people trying to collect debts that you don't have, make sure you address that and make sure you share with them and prove to them that these accounts are not yours. Another clue that someone may have stolen your identity is that if you're still writing checks or you use your debit card and merchants refuse to take it, that could be a sign that someone has stolen your identity, especially if you are aware and you know what's in your bank accounts. If you find unfamiliar accounts or you have charges on your credit report that don't belong to you, that is a sign and an indication that someone may be using your identity. If you have medical providers who bill you for services you didn't use, that's a sign that someone is using or could be using your identity. If your health plan rejects your legitimate medical claims because the records show that you've reached your benefit maximum, that could be a sign that someone is using your identity. Also, if your health plan won't cover you because your medical records shows conditions that have been diagnosed by doctors that you don't have, that could be a sign, another sign that someone is using your identity. Also, if the IRS notifies you that more than one tax return has been filed in your name for a particular tax year, that could be a sign that someone is using your identity. You could also get notices that your information was compromised in a data breach from a company, Yahoo or Google or Groupon, any of these, any company that has and stores data information within their systems could experience a data breach, and therefore it could subject you to someone obtaining your personal information, and now you have to take precautions against someone stealing your identity. Also, if you're do not keep your social security number in your wallet or in your purse. Memorize your number. And if people ask you, businesses ask you for your social security number, give them the last 4 digits, and try to refrain from giving it at all. But in some cases, you absolutely have to. And in those cases, just give the last 4 digits. These are steps that you can take to identify whether or not someone is using your identification, and therefore take precautions so that you don't get scammed. So the first thing you want to do if you suspect someone has stolen your identity is to analyze your situation, meaning you need to determine what type of identity theft is it, because there are several types of identity theft. You could be a victim of credit card, banking, taxes, employment, governmental benefits, or medical, or even criminal situations where your identity has been utilized in these areas to compromise your personal information. So you need to figure out whether or not someone just hacked into your bank account and stole your money, or ran up some charges on your credit card, or if they had medical treatment on you, utilizing your name in health insurance. You need to determine which way your personal information was breached so you know how to address it. Then your next step is to place a fraud alert with the national credit reporting agencies. That would be Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. You need to contact all 3 credit bureaus and place a fraud alert on your account. This will reduce any further liability, and it will alert. By placing this fraud alert on your credit report, it will then be an alert to every merchant that has to go to the credit bureaus when evaluating your credit worthiness, and let them know that someone has stolen your identity. And so if someone is before them trying to apply for credit or purchase a vehicle or a home, they need to take extra precaution to identify the person that is attempting to utilize your name and your credit before they issue any new credit. A fraud alert also affords you certain rights, because as a victim of identity theft, you are entitled to certain things, one of which is a free credit report from each of the reporting agencies. They are free to you, and they last for a year, and it can be renewed annually. The credit fraud. If you put a credit fraud on your credit reports, it's free. It won't cost you anything. It will last for a year, and it can be renewed annually. Fraud alerts also make it hard for someone to open new credit in your name, because it now puts the responsibility on the merchant to thoroughly identify and verify that person's identity before they can issue new credit under your name. These are the contact web address and phone number for each of the three credit bureaus: Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. And if you feel that you've been a victim, these are the numbers and the websites that you want to go on to place your fraud alert on your account. Again, a fraud alert is to put a notice on your credit reports stating that you've been a victim of identity theft, and for merchants and people issuing credit in your name, they need to take extra precaution and verify the person that is trying to apply for new credit. So, number 3, you should check your financial accounts, your bank accounts, your credit union accounts, and you should make sure that you go through your statements, verifying all charges and identifying the ones that you didn't make, and let your financial institution know so that, again, they can put freezes on your account and they can go through the process of tracking down whether or not and who made the charges against your bank account. Don't go without examining your financial statements every single month. Your banking institutions will issue a financial statement on your account every month. You need to go through it. You need to go through it regularly so you can make sure that all of the charges entered in your statement were indeed the ones that you made. They now have online banking where you can go into your account electronically and view all of the charges that comes against your account. That may be an easier way to do it, and you can do it far more frequently. If you check online, you can check on a daily basis to see what comes in against your account, making sure that you're guarding against people being able to compromise your account and jeopardize your finance. Step number 4, check your computer for viruses. If you are a victim of of identity theft, you want to check your computers, your phone devices, to make sure that there are no malicious malware that have been attached, or viruses input by hackers, because they're trying to steal your sensitive data. And as you type your username and passcodes to your various accounts, there may be software on your devices that are able to capture those keystrokes and then send that information to the identity thieves, allowing them to further compromise any of your accounts. Run checks, virus scans on your computer and your devices. And if you don't have antivirus programs on your devices, you need to get those, because that is a very good way to make sure that you're protected against those who would steal your identity. Step number 5, you need to file a complaint with the Federal Trade Commission. You need to report your identity theft to the FTC. Sharing this information with them will allow them and empower them to place the alerts against your account for further activity. They will put together a report of all of the information that you share with them into a complete report that you can take to your local police department, because you also need to file a police report when you're a victim of identity theft. You can go to the website, www.identitytheft.gov, or you can call their identity theft hotline at 1-877-438-4338. Go online, fill out your report, print it out, and take it with you to your local police department. And this will provide your local police department with the necessary information they need in order to report identity theft with them. Step number 6, you also need to place a fraud alert with the National Consumers Telecom and Utility Exchange. The National Consumers Telecom and Utility Exchange is a organization. It is a credit reporting agency, actually. Just like Experience, TransUnion, and Equifax, this is a credit reporting agency that deals specifically with your utility bills, your phone bills, your cable bills. When you apply for a new cell phone or a cable account, they do run a credit check on you, but they also check the National Consumers Telecom and Utilities Exchange Reporting Agency, because this agency allows them to see more specifically beyond your regular credit report. It lets them see your bill paying history with all of your utility companies. And that's how they determine whether or not you're credit worthy when you are trying to get a new cable account or establish utilities in, electricity or gas in your name, or a new water bill account. This is how they determine your credit worthiness. And so you need to contact them, as well as the credit bureau, TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax, to place a fraud alert on your accounts, because people steal identity so that they can open up utility accounts for wherever it is they are. People steal utility services all the time. And by placing a fraud alert on your utilities reporting agency account, it will alert them and allow them to place a freeze on your name for people that may come in and try to obtain utility services for themselves. The fraud alert that you place with them is good for 1 year, and it's free to do. You can also extend the fraud alert for up to 7 years. The number that you call to report to the NCTUE is 1-866-349-3233, or you can mail a request to Disputes and Frauds Exchange Service Center, and P.O. Box 105398, Atlanta, Georgia 30348. Next, you need to file a police report with either the state police or your local police, whatever city you're in. Those 2 fraud alert reports that you file with the credit union, the credit bureau, and the utilities reporting agency, these are going to be necessary in order for you to file your state police report or your local police report, because they have to determine whether or not there's actual fraud, someone actually taking your identity and using it for themselves fraudulently, or whether or not you are doing it. So you're going to need these 2 reports in order to make your local police report or the report with the state of Michigan. So do those 2 reports first, and then you can go and obtain your police report. Make sure you keep a copy of all of your reports and all of your records. It's vital, because you're going to have to be able to prove this information initially and down the line, and you want to have all of this. You want to make sure that you record all of the names of the people that you speak with regarding the situation that you're experiencing. If there are badge numbers or ID numbers, you want to record that information. You want to record the dates and the times of your communication, whether it's online, whether it's, you're talking to them on the phone. If you receive a fax or if you have to mail something, you want to record the dates that you receive these things, or that you receive mail, or that you are mailing things out. You want to keep complete copies of all correspondence, all affidavits from the FTC, the police report. You want to keep all of this information so that if you ever have to reference it, you have it on hand and it will be available to you, and you can utilize it to prove your case of identity fraud. Next, you want to order a copy of your credit report, and you want to review it, and you should be reviewing it regularly anyway. If you've placed a fraud alert, you will receive confirmation letters from the 3 credit bureaus, Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, and they will tell you the steps you will next need to take in order to get your free credit report. But under normal circumstances, you can use the annual credit report request services to obtain a free copy of all 3 credit bureau credit reports. And it is federal law that they provide you with 1 report from each credit bureau each year. So you can go online, or you can request a copy of your credit report at 1-877-322-8228. Here are a few tips that you can use to prevent going through identity theft. First, again, always keep your Social Security card secure. Don't carry it around with you. Keep it in a locked, secured place. Don't just give your Social Security number out. If your Social Security number is being requested, depending on who's requesting, you'll be able to evaluate whether or not you need to give them the full number or just the last 4 digits. Also, make sure that you do not share your personal information with just anybody. Don't share your birth date, the month, the day, and the year. Don't share your account numbers just because someone asked for it. Find out, well, why do you need that information? Is that necessary? And if it isn't, don't give it out. Make sure that you go to your mailbox every day and collect your mail. And if you're going to go on vacation and be gone for an extended period, go to your local post office and place a hold on your account, and then go and pick your mail up when you return from your vacation. Because again, people steal the US mail, which contains your information. That's what they're looking for. Make sure you pay attention to your billing cycles for your credit card bills. Make sure you know when your financial statements from your bank accounts are issued. And if you have any missing, or if they're late, contact the company to find out why. Because again, you don't want your information to fall into the wrong hands. Use the security features on your computers and your mobile devices. They're there to provide safety, and it only helps increase your ability to stay protected. Make sure that you update your sharing and firewall settings. And when you're on, you should really limit the amount of time you spend on public Wi-Fi, because again, there are people that have devices that can capture your information when you're on public Wi-Fi. So limit your public Wi-Fi access. When you go into public areas, refrain from going into your accounts until you get somewhere safe. Also, use a virtual private network, a VPN, when you are out and on public Wi-Fi. Also, make sure that you review your credit card and bank account statements again. Make sure that you compare your receipts. Online banking allows you the ability to go in on a daily basis and see what's going into your account and what's coming out. If you make a practice of doing this on a daily, a weekly basis, you minimize the ability for people to go in and you know, just wipe your account clean because you're not monitoring. You know, you can see unauthorized transactions, you know, far more readily if you go online and check, you know, on a regular practice, on a regular basis. Make sure that you buy a shredder and shred documents that you no longer need, that are old and outdated, with all of your personal information on it. And this prevents people from stealing your trash, because believe it or not, people steal trash to gain your personal information so that they can steal your identity. Don't have a lot of old records, you know, in your file cabinets or laying around your house. Shred those things. If they no longer needed, shred them. Shred old credit cards, shred old ID cards. You know, every so often you have to get a new driver's license. Shred that old one up, you know. Also, make sure you store your information at home in secure file cabinets and safes. The less people can access your information, the better your chances are of not being compromised and your identity being stolen. Make sure that you install firewalls and virus protection software on your electronic devices and computers. Make sure that you create complicated passwords that people can't just go in and guess and figure out and now access your account. I know I'm so guilty of that because, you know, you pretty much have a username and password for everything. And so trying to remember that is like, oh my God, seriously. And so it makes you want to, for convenience sake, create the same password for everything, but that's not a good idea. Get a book and write these username and passwords down, and then keep them in a secure place. And then that way, whenever you need to access, you know, any of your accounts, you just go there and reference it if you have a hard time trying to remember what your passwords are. And make sure that you change your passwords on a regular basis. Every couple of months, you should change your passwords so that even if there are people out there with devices that can capture your information, if you change it on a regular basis, it makes it hard for them to continue to access it. Also, especially after you know, a company has notified you or has made a public announcement that their data has been breached and you have a relationship of some kind with them, change your passwords immediately. Make sure, again, you obtain your credit report every year and make sure you review it. Make sure you check to see whether or not there are things on there that shouldn't be because you didn't open an account with Taylor Chevrolet. You know, you didn't buy a new car. You have to do this. You have to do your due diligence and be regular and practice reviewing and overviewing your credit report so that you know that everything is okay. Again, make sure that they don't include accounts that you did not open. All you have to do is just go online to annualcreditreport.com and order one every year. And that way you'll know and you'll have all that information. Also, you can freeze your credit files with the credit bureaus as well as the NCTU. And that freeze can be on your account for a year or longer if you want to. And the freeze is free. And what it does is it keeps people from being able to open new credit in your name for themselves because there's a freeze on your account. And when someone goes to Macy's or tries to open up a Visa card, extra precaution is taken, and the merchant has to verify that it is you that's applying for this. Otherwise, they deny it. This is one really good way to ensure that people are not stealing your identity, because you freeze it, you freeze your accounts. Finally, identity theft happens more regularly than we want it to happen. And so when someone steals your personal information to commit fraud, it's bad, because now you have to go through a lot of extra steps to take care of it and make sure that things are in order, and that you don't wind up holding the bag, paying for something that you didn't have. The identity thief, again, they can use your information to apply for credit, to file income taxes, to get medical services, to empty out your bank accounts, to open up utility services. You don't want that to happen, because these acts can damage your credit status and cost you time and money. But if you just take a few moments and follow the steps that I've just given you, it will help you to restore your good name if you become a victim of identity theft, or it can help you to prevent it from happening altogether because you've put the various precautions in place. Well, friends, that's all the time that I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in to Life Skills FYI. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out. My number is 586-842-0558. That's 586-842-0558. Again, my name is Toni Cureton. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you all next time on Life Skills FYI. And always remember to adult responsibly.